If you're working with variables inside Dart, you're going to notice that they have a couple different types of collections. Now, these are going to be very familiar if you used to have worked with Python. So, for example, I'm going to come in here and create a var foo, and this is going to equal 1, 2, and 3. You're going to notice that this looks like a list in Python or an array in some other language. And you are absolutely correct. That is how it works. I can come in here and say print foo, and I'm going to specify 2. I'm going to say foo, and at index 0 using the square brackets, I'm going to equal 12. This all works, and I can even say print foo to print out the whole list. If I come in here and run, you're going to see I print out first 3, and then I print out 12, 2, and 3 when I print out the whole list. When I print out the whole list, I get square brackets around it, and I'm comma delineating my individual elements. Now, if I specify foo dot, you'll notice that I have a series of different methods that I can use to work with. This is an ordered list. I can expect it to be in that type of order. So I can get the length, I can reverse it, I can get a last item, I can iterate through it. I can add items using the add method. There's a lot of different things that I can do with this. One thing I cannot do, however, is change the data types within it. So if I try to say the element at index 1 equals Bob, you're going to notice that it was able to infer that this was a set of integers, and it's not going to let me change, unlike some other languages that do allow you to mix data types with your arrays. So this is one limitation, but in some ways it's a better limitation because it helps keep things working in an orderly manner. Now, this is one limitation of the list. However, if you're used to working with a strictly typed language such as Java or C++, then you're going to find this a lot more comfortable to work with and a lot less likely to have accidental errors running into it. So let's look at another quick data type. I'm going to leave foo there. Okay, so I'm going to create now a new variable called bar. And I'm going to use curly braces to define its values. So I'm going to put in Fred, Wilma, Barney, and Betty. Now, you'll notice that this works exactly as you would expect. And if I go print bar, you'll notice I get my list here. Now, you might say, well, what's the difference between foo and bar? Okay, so where's the difference here? Well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show you two differences. First off, I'm going to add a second Fred. Okay, so in foo, I have 1, 2, 3. In bar, I have Fred, Wilma, Barney, Betty, and Fred again. But notice that my second Fred has an underline here. And if I put this over it, you're going to get a little bit of a notice in it. Hey, two elements in this literal cannot be equal. And that's because inside of curly braces, we have a set. Sets require unique and individual elements. So if I come here and I run, notice it doesn't provide an error, but Fred, Wilma, Barney, and Betty are listed, and it ignores the second Fred. It doesn't matter how many times I have. Sets only allow unique elements in any, and if there's a duplicate value, it ignores it. And that's a big difference, and here's a set that's showing that example. If I come back up here to foo, notice that I can put in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. It will allow duplicate values. So a list, as you can see, it is in an order, and it allows duplicate values. A set technically is not necessarily going to be in the order that you provide it. Now, In our case, it has been. In a lot of cases, you will see that, but it does not have to be, and it does not allow duplicate values. Now, the last major data collection I'm going to show you is a map. And once again, this is something that's probably pretty familiar to you. They call them maps in a lot of languages. Other languages might call it dictionary. So this is where I'm going to set up something like var. And I'm going to do something like gift exchange. And for simplicity, I'm going to put these on individual lines. So in setting up a map, we're going to take an index that's going to be often a string and match it with an item. Here I'm going to say, for example, and this is going to be gift card. Notice that I have a colon between the two, the index and the value. Okay. Now I've put these on separate lines just so they're easier to read and see. Kind of nice way to line them up. They do not have to be. Commas separate the elements. Colons separate the index from the value. And if I print gift exchange, when we come up here and run this, you're going to see that it's printed out on one line. I have the index, colon, and then the value. So very simple as far as that goes. You notice that if I do gift exchange dot or whatever my variable name is, once again, I have some methods that I can work with for storing and working with these different types of data. So pretty simple, pretty familiar if you're used to working with a dictionary, or as some languages do refer to it as a map.